Hi, Dr. H here again with Family-Centered Parenting. Today I'm going to talk about the family meeting, which is really putting family-centered parenting in practice. Question, you might ask, why do we need family meetings? Well, I'll tell you why. The family meeting is the cornerstone of the family-centered parenting program. And it is the creation of a sacred family space, the family meeting. Structuring the meeting and institutionalizing it in the life of the family as a ritual is where we actually begin family-centered parenting. I'm talking about children even as young as 5 can be part of the family meeting process. So the key word here is ritual. All families, as defined by themselves, and let me emphasize throughout, whenever I talk about family, I am not dictating to you what your family is. You decide what your family is. It might be a multi-generational family. It might be same-sex parents. It might be a traditional mom and dad. It might be a single parent. Whatever you define as your family unit is what we're talking about. So every family has kind of a unique spoken and unspoken tradition that serves to bind the family together. So the family meeting must be established as an essential family ritual. And rituals, by definition, are practiced with a high degree of consistency and importance. Therefore, parents, as role models, are responsible for taking the leadership role in scheduling and explaining to the children the reasons for the family meeting. Parents are the primary force in creating the family meeting as a ritual because of their ability through the scheduling process to make meeting time a high priority in the life of the family. If done properly, meetings become highly need-fulfilling and therefore provide positive experiences for all members of the family, adults and children. I just need to really reinforce the idea of ritual and scheduling. And I know today's families, there's so much going on, so many activities, work related for adults, all the children's schedule activities, sports, after school. Very difficult to find that key time. But it's up to the parents to say, we have to carve out a time in the week where we will meet as a family on a regular basis, put it on our calendar, and nothing short of an emergency will interfere with our family meeting. That's what makes it a ritual. And by doing that, we are modeling the importance to our children of the family meeting. There are 2 types of meetings. I call them the regular meeting and the ad hoc meeting. Now, the regular meeting is the scheduled, and it's regardless of any immediate concerns. Everything could be going smoothly, functioning well as a family. We still have to have a family meeting. Think about that. When things are going well, it's great to get together and all of us acknowledge, wow, we haven't had any arguments this week. Everybody's done their chores. We feel together as a family. We're enjoying each other's company. And sharing that and reinforcing that is a wonderful thing when it happens. So having a meeting, no matter what is going on, is certainly important, especially when things are going real well. We tend to say, we really need a meeting. Things are going well. We do. And we have to remember we need that ritual established. The ad hoc meeting is called either by the parent or a child, and it's called to deal with a specific issue that cannot wait for the next scheduled meeting. Something is going on, it's immediate, could be a bullying, could be a problem with social media in school, a problem with the teacher, it could be almost anything. But if the child or the parent feels that, hey, we cannot wait for our regular meeting, we need to get together, call a family meeting, that was what I call the ad hoc meeting. Now, there are similarities. All meetings need to start with the review of ground rules. Ground rules are essential to have a meeting that works. And what would be the ground rules? It needs to be established by the family. So we need input from everybody. So obviously things that would probably get into ground rules are no electronic media, phones are off, and civility. And what does that mean? We don't interrupt, we don't use profanity, we take our turn, and we make sure to be active listeners. And we practice some of these techniques in the meeting, what it means to be an active listener, to learn how to understand before being understood. Therefore, we're at the meeting, and after we go through the ground rules, and that's regardless whether it's a ad hoc meeting or a regular meeting, and then the next thing is the meeting leader takes charge. Now, initially, it's going to be the parent that's going to take the leadership, but it's great over time as our children become accustomed to the family meeting process that it's a child can take over as the lead for a meeting, knowing that there's an agenda, knowing how to rehearse the ground rules, etc. So that's how we begin all meetings, whether it be a regular or ad hoc. In process, I really want to emphasize brainstorming. And those of us who've gone to management seminars, etc., we know that true brainstorming means that we have to be open at first to all our ideas. And a good way of doing it is on a sheet, an easel with a pad on it where we could write, and we ask for ideas in solving the problem without making any judgments. True brainstorming is you throw everything down on paper first. The reason being, we don't want the group to say, oh, that's a stupid answer. That won't work. And then that person feels shut down, and if they come up with a good idea, they're reluctant to share it. So in the beginning round of brainstorming, there is no judgment. We accept all ideas, even the ones that on the surface appear a little bit off the wall. The second step is, after we have the initial, is to go over the list, and then as a group we use judgment to remove those items which we know are not workable. That process of brainstorming really builds a sense of cohesiveness, that everybody has a part, and that the end result of what we agree on as steps, we own those steps. All of us own it. And we all know that when we own something, we're more likely to respect it. Whether it own a regular possession or it be an idea or a rule that we agreed upon, ownership creates a lasting respect for that particular rule or object that we don't feel is imposed upon us, but we feel it coincides with our value system. So that's a process. Sometimes families like to use a talking stick, just as a reminder that only the person with the talking stick can speak. And then if they have an answer, someone else would like to answer them or offer, we pass the talking stick. If needed, that's a helpful part that a family could make as part of their ritual. What do we do in a regular meeting? Well, some of the topics could be, first of all, we start off, what is the purpose of the meeting? We reinforce, especially in the initial stage, to our children why this meeting is so important for the life of a family. And we remind the children of how having this time together without interruption is what a family is all about. We can talk about rules and chores. Every family is going to have rules for the children, is going to have chores for the family, and here's the time where we brainstorm, discuss, and give and take. This is when we negotiate, where negotiate is not a dirty word. We want the input of our children. We want to give our input as adults, what our needs are for a particular reason, like a curfew or anything else that we think is really important. It's crucial that the adults in the room state why something is important to them, not that it's arbitrary. We want our children to understand that the rules and expectations are based on real needs of the family and real needs of the individual. They're not just imposed upon us. So if they're not imposed upon us, again, we build the buy-in. And that's the key. We want buy-in that brings ownership in the rules and chores. Planning, family activities. What's the week gonna like? Let's talk about our calendar. Or vacation is coming up. What do we want to do on our vacation? Now, adults might say we planned a trip out west by car. Then we can kind of talk. What do you think, the children? How can you contribute to the trip? What kind of homework can you do? Can you do research on some of the places we would like to go to? Would you like to keep a log of expenses? Get the children involved in planning the activity. And again, it means when you're out there doing it, it's binding and there's ownership. The other thing that I highly recommend is that a family in early stages adopt a mission statement. As we know, most companies, corporations, small and large, emphasize that they have a mission. They know who they are and what they're about. Well, it's so important for a family to create its own unique mission statement. And that should be one of the early agenda items, is how do we go about creating a family mission statement? Through brainstorming, give and take, we all come up and agree who we are as a family. And the importance of that, it helps our children have a sense of facing the world when the family value that we agreed upon in our mission statement is contrary to, say, peer pressure or something going on with our kids. When our kids can say, in our family, this is what we believe, it gives them the, I would say, armor or material to face the expectations and pressure of things they don't want to do. So that's why having that family mission is so, so important. Another thing that we can do in meetings that's really helpful is rehearsal. Now we can plan and ask, how would you handle being bullied? How would you handle observing that one of your friends didn't invite you to a party? What could you do if you found your teacher was being unfair to you? By rehearsing and coming up with strategies before the event, when we're calm and thoughtful, get the input of our family, we are now giving our children tools to confront different situations that might come up, especially in the preteen and teen years, where peer pressure becomes so important. If our child, say, they're at a party and they're exposed to alcohol or drugs, and as a family you've gone over why this is not something that should be done at their age, and the child needs something, how are they going to respond to peer pressure to go along with the group? But if they feel and believe in what their family has stated, they can say, well, in our family, we have decided that we're not going to use alcohol till we're of legal age. So I'm honoring our family's tradition. If a child could say that to their peers and feel comfortable in that, that will give them enormous resilience, strength, and the ability to confront the world and hold on to what's so important in the life of that family. So rehearsal, an important ingredient in a family meeting. Also, it's a great time to talk about the hot topics before they're hot. For example, we want to talk about sex. This is always a hot topic, very difficult for parents to talk about. So let's ease our way into it. Over a series of family meetings, we can have the discussion in incremental terms. So we don't need to have that one big sit down. It becomes more natural and more organic. When we talk about drugs, the same approach, slowly building that methods of drug use, why we want it, why we don't, talk about it when it's not hot in a family meeting, gives our children, again, the ammunition to face the world in a responsible way. Now, I've said a lot today about family meeting, and I want to emphasize in our book, Family-Centered Parenting, Your Guide to Growing Great Families, there's a whole chapter devoted to family meetings and a mission statement with examples. So I know what we've talked about today. It's a bit detailed and overwhelming. If you acquire the book and check our website, familycenteredparenting.com, you have the ability to book a free consultation with me on parenting, and also following in the book the steps for a family meeting and how we can put it into practice. So with that, I'm going to sign off and wish everyone well, and thank you for listening, and take care. Bye-bye.